guys, I'm FPL Nymfria and welcome back to the home of FPL videos. City rotation strikes again, and yet again I seem to be the victim of it. Here's what happened in game week 7. Pope only managed the 1 point for me this game week. I did think he'd make more than one save in this game, I have to admit, and I'm a bit concerned that Burnley only have 2 clean sheets to name off so far this season, especially if Pope isn't going to help rack up those save points if he does manage to concede in matches. Let's hope this was a bit of a blip and that he does pull up his gloves going forward with 3 tougher fixtures ahead of Everton, Leicester and Chelsea up next. In defence, Trent continued to help aid my team with 6 points from his clean sheet. Sheffield United were very good at covering Liverpool in this game, I felt. At one stage it did look like it might end 0-0. However, Poole ground out the win and it was all about Trent's defensive form this week with his 5 clearances, 1 blocked shot and 2 interceptions won, rather than his attacking form. Some tougher games ahead for Liverpool now though. Will we still get to see this consistency from Trent regardless of whether it's attacking or defensive? We will have to see, but let's hope so. I did a -4 this week, which seen me move on 2 of my more expensive defenders, Digne and Zinchenko. Digne made way for Soyuncu and Zinchenko moved to Rico, whom I benched this week. Soyuncu managed to add 6 points to my team total and looked great with his 98.8% accurate pass rate and 94 touches. Look, I won't get attacking threat with this guy. I'm just hoping to ride the fixtures after Liverpool and try and grab a few clean sheets amongst them. Lastly, in defence I played Mings. I've been hoping for more from him than I've actually got so far, to be honest. I think if I didn't have other fires to put out, I might have considered making him my move away this week with just 1 point from him. Moving on to my midfield, and it actually looks okay, apart from Salah of course. Lots of people talking about shifting him on this week. Am I being a bit nostalgic? But that has just never worked for me in the past, ever. He had 2 shots on target against Sheffield United, 1 shot off target and 1 shot blocked. With tough fixtures ahead, it looks an easy sell, right? Wrong. I can't do it. It haunted me last season and it'll probably be my downfall as others rightly hop on and off as he hauls and blanks. But right now, 2 blanks in 7 game weeks is not enough to shift someone on in my books. I'm just hoping with Liverpool being notoriously better at home, that with 2 of those tougher fixtures being at Anfield, that hopefully Salah will be able to make up for them and that he'll have been worth keeping for all of us that do. Here's praying anyway. We'll come back to Sterling in a minute. Let's just take a bit of time to chat about my M&Ms in midfield, and that's Mount and McGinn. These 2 have been my little medium priced heroes recently. 8 points from McGinn's goal and 1 bonus point, and could have possibly been a lot more in that match given McGinn actually had a goal ruled out for being offside, and my other M in Mount getting an assist for 6 points. These 2 are just ticking away right now. With Chelsea's fixtures and McGinn's form, I'm hoping for big things from my M&M duo going forward. Circling back to Sterling if I must, and this City rotation thing is doing my nut in. Last week Sterling was benched, this week it's Aguero, whom we'll have a chat about in a minute. All the while KDB is mocking the owners that do not have him. I chose to keep Sterling this week. Let's give him this away match, I thought. His stats away are brilliant, so maybe this will be the day that Aguero and Sterling do something in the same match. Did they? Well, they did, but not in the manner I was hoping. Sterling's stats were a bit underwhelming with only 2 shots on target. Watching the game it felt Sterling was lucky to get that goal if I'm honest, albeit I'll take the 7 points, but that's not really what you want from a 12.1 priced mid. Moving on to my forwards, and you'll see that my -4 with my downgrade in defence helped fund Tammy for Greenwood this week up front. On paper this was an epic shout. In reality Tammy struggled to get me more than 2 points. I did start to feel like all the chat about him this week, that it was starting to feel like he might blank. I think I may have even mentioned this when I joined the boys on the Elite FPL show. He also came up a lot on the FPL Wildcats. Curtio rightly said we should wait on him, and I wrongly dismissed this. There will be a fair few FPL managers out there now, including myself, wondering if we've just jumped on an unstable bandwagon. Talking of unstable, what do we do with Pookie? I didn't expect much from him away from home this week, but should we really be okay with this as FPL managers? I can see the next time Pookie blanks at home, he will be sold in the thousands. I think he's probably only still owned by 44.6 thousand plus managers right now, based on his Aston Villa fixture at home up next. Let's hope he rewards us for sticking with him in that match. Lastly, my captain Aguero. Oh man, as that team news came in on Saturday evening, I just felt sick, knowing he had been benched and Salah was my vice captain who had blanked. So as I said earlier, for him to come in and get an assist for Sterling was a blessing. Aguero still managed 2 shots on target despite only playing 24 minutes, and it has just been released now on Twitter from the press articles that he was benched due to Pep wanting to play him midweek, and because Aguero felt a little something in his leg before the game apparently. I will take the 4 points double to 8 as my captain, but I have a real dilemma going forward with this whole rotation thing, and more about that in a moment. All of that means I ended on a total of 50 points, so 45 with my -4. I'm recording this Monday before the Arsenal vs Man United match, as I have no FPL assets in it, so this places me at a provisional OR of 270,743 and a red arrow. I will of course drop again after tonight's match, no matter what happens. I just have to hope that it's not too far. Anything close to the top half of 300k would be considered a win for me this week given the circumstances, but I see me being likely closer to the 400,000-500,000 mark in reality, with all these tight margins with the overall ranks. Looking forward to game week 8, and this is how I'm looking at the moment. I am sick of talking about KDB every week in this section, I have to say. It's obvious if he gets through this niggle he went off with against Everton and looks to be starting in game week 8, then I have to get him in. I actually feel a little bit ill when I consider what rank I might be if I had KDB in from the start as planned. The problem is, what route do I take to get him now? I have one free transfer, so my easiest route is Sterling to KDB for free. However, lots of people I respect in the community are telling me to keep Sterling regardless and shift Aguero on instead, given Jesus is now a likely starter. A move that would see me taking a -4, something I'm not mad keen on doing after having just done that, and would likely see me moving on Mount or McGinn to make space for KDB when I've yet to have any reason to move either of them on for their form and price tag. I could do it by upping Cantwell to KDB and dropping Aguero right down in price, but who would I drop each week with a midfield of KDB, Sterling, Salah, McGinn and Mount? That would be extremely difficult and an expensive bench. I would have to wait out the midweek games this week. There is no way around it, despite whatever the price changes are. My defence is worrying me this week, it has to be said. As I said previously, if I wasn't so keen on sorting out my KDB problem, I'd be moving Mings on this week. Let me know what you guys think, as always, in the comments below. Now let's move on to the trending transfers. We're still quite early on in the week with this, with a game still to go, so I expect this to change a bit, but the trendiest transfers thus far are this. In terms of the goalkeepers, FPL managers seem to be turning to the Sheffield United goalkeeper, with over 14,000 managers already having transferred Henderson in ahead of game week 8. With the news of Fabianski's injury and the possibility that the West Ham goalkeeper might be out for up to 3 weeks, over 21,000 of you have already shifted away from the joint highest scoring goalkeeper in FPL with 32 points. I can only see the likes of Patricio, who was matching Fabianski for points, Henderson, Adrian, Edison, Ryan and Pope becoming ever trendier as the week rolls on, given they seem to be the most obvious options for FPL managers in the Fabianski swap. In defence, there are 3 trendiest players already forming this week despite it only being Monday. They are Lundstrom, Tomori and Cresswell. Lundstrom is leading the trend so far at the time of recording this, with over 53,000 of you getting him in already. It's the likes of Uriah, who got a red card in game week 7 and so as a result is now suspended, David, Digne and Wan-Bissaka, who are losing out in FPL managers' teams. Aurier has been moved on by over 48,000 managers already, and Digne is close behind him with 44,000+ of you jumping ship. In midfield, there are two players battling it out to become the trendiest midfielder to have ahead of Game Week 8 in De Bruyne and Mount, both having been brought in by over 89,000 of you so far at the time of recording this. Surprisingly, it's Salah and Sterling who are getting moved on for these players, with over 45,000 of you selling Salah on and 38,000+ of you placing Sterling close behind him as the trendiest moves out in midfield this week. Up front, despite Tammy's blank last week, he is still the trendiest striker transfer this week, with 66,000+ of you already getting the Chelsea man in. However, there are two new strikers fighting their way back into managers' teams in Wilson and King. The two Bournemouth men have had over 35,000 transfers in ahead of Game Week 8, with Wilson just edging ahead of King. It's Pookie who is making way this game week, despite him being at home to Aston Villa. 52,000+ managers have left the Pookie party already. Barnes is also starting to look a trendy transfer out this week, with 36,000+ managers moving the Burnley man on already. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to check out my sponsors fantasyfootballfix.com, and please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, Nymfria out.